Hi everyone, it's me Catherine, and today I am here to talk to you about the Shadow and Bone Trilogy by Leigh Bardugo. Now I already have spoiler reviews for all three books in the series, which I will link if you want to check out. So if you haven't read the series, then I would not recommend watching this because this is basically just going to be full of spoilers. This is just a spoilery chat that's no doubt going to be rambly as fuck because I have no notes or anything for it. I'm just going on feelings, and we know, if you've watched my channel for any period of time, you know how well that generally goes, so we'll see how this turns out. So the Shadow and Bone Trilogy. So I recently, if you watch my TBR, you'll know I plan to reread the whole of the Grishaverse before King of Scars comes out later this month, and I've just recently finished the Shadow and Bone Trilogy, and like I love it, and I love it a lot more than I remember loving it the first time round. Like, I definitely enjoyed it the first time round, which was like, it's kind of like going on like 3 years ago now that I read it, but I read it either in between or after I'd caught up on the Throne of Glass series, and let me tell you, was the Shadow and Bone Trilogy a treat after that. And like I enjoyed it at the time. Like, it was really nice, it was a lot of fun, it was good, it was nice, it was different from the last series, and that's what I wanted, and I remember enjoying it. And this time around when I read it, I don't know if it's because I'd read it so I already have all the feelings for all the characters, but this time around they just felt right. Like they just felt perfect. Like, this series isn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but for me it is. Like, this time round I really felt a deeper connection than I did the first time round, and whether it's because I'd already read it and I'd already got that bond. But like, I've reread books before and they've never like changed all that much. Like, I love them as much as I remember loving them, but it was just, I don't know if it's just because I read it at the right time. Like, I think this series was the perfect thing to the series to start off my 2019, because 2018 was, it was a pretty shit year for me. Like, it was horrible. I think I read 17 books, and most of those were, I think I only read one physical novel. The rest were either manga, graphic novels, or audiobooks. Like, they were a big saviour for me last year because it was horrible. It was horrible, and I'm glad it's over. And 2019, like, this series it means so much more to me now than it did when I first read it, and a lot of my feelings have changed. Well, not a lot of my feelings, but some of my feelings have changed from the first time around. Basically, Alina and Mal is the biggest change for me this time around, because the first time I read it, I didn't hate Alina and Mal, like, as a pairing or as separate characters, but I didn't feel either way about them. Like, they were just like, they were all right, they were okay. But this time around, like, I ship them with all my heart, and I didn't think I would. I thought, because of all the opinions that people have on Mal and stuff, I thought my opinions might have changed towards the negative, like towards the not liking them as a pairing. I thought I would hate Mal with every fibre of my being, but I didn't. I was so prepared to, and at first I felt like, after the first book I didn't feel anything really, but then like the second book, that was when, the first time around reading it, the Siege and Storm was when both Alina and Mal really started to grate on my nerves. But this time around I felt a lot more empathetic towards them, and I understood them a lot more this time round, and I just wish from the bottom of my heart for them to be happy for the rest of their lives. Like, genuinely want them to be happy, and I didn't think I would feel that way. And Mal's death as well, the second death, well, not the second death, but the second time round when he nearly dies, I'm glad he didn't die. The first time I'm reading it, I was, I won't say, I don't know if I was disappointed, but like, I didn't like the fact that Mal came back. And a part of me still feels that way, still feels like, because some part of me wants that tragic ending that's going to rip my heart to pieces. But this time round, like, I was happy for them. Like, I was happy that Mal came back, and I felt sorry that they both lost, like, a part of themselves, but I was happy that they still had each other, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed that after bit where it tells a bit about them, what they did after, and, like, I just want them to be happy, and I just didn't think I'd feel that way after especially after the first time, because I didn't feel anything. But I love them both now. Like, Alina, I love her, and I will. I love them, and I just think it's really weird that how much that's changed. Like, I'm still annoyed at Mal that it started out as a I didn't realise what I had until it was gone sort of thing. But once we got into Siege and Storm, like, that was forgotten, and I could see how much he really cares for Alina. And whilst Nikolai is my personal choice, after the Darkling, like, I mean, let's look at the Darkling. Like, I understand that the Darkling did horrible murdery things, but I just don't have it in me to hate him. I can't hate him, and his death breaks my heart, and it will break my heart every time I think about it or read about it. And it just, because he's just, like, I get why people don't like him. Like, it's fair. I completely understand why people would hate him and stuff. But I can't. I don't have it in me to hate him. Like, he wanted better for the Grisha, but, like, he was so old, and he'd seen so many wars, and like, seeing how the world was how the people were continuing to treat Grisha, and I don't know if I would have been any different from him. Like, Alina herself, she understood that living a long time, having the power that he had, living for as long as he had, understood. And at the end, when he dies, she actually grieved for him, and I am with her on that. Like, I don't know, like, obviously the people don't know about the Darkling. They don't know how long he's lived. They don't know the things that he's seen, and they don't know what it's like to have his power. So obviously they cheered for his death because, well, I mean, he murdered a bunch of people, and it was horrible, and he did horrible things. But it was just really sad that he died, and it will never not break my heart. But at the same time, it was all for the best for everybody, because had he been alive, he would have continued his doing his thing, which was killing people and trying to make the world a better place for Grisha, not really caring about what he did to get to that point. And it's also the best thing for him, because he'd lived so long and seen so much that it was his time. He'd seen too much, lived too long, and had to deal with too much. Especially once Alina lost her powers, that was, like, I don't remember it affecting me as much the first time, but that point when she loses the powers and he realises that she has nothing, and that now he's definitely the only one, because his mum's dead now as well, so he's the only one that has this power, And it's just really sad. And the way he dies as well is like, this can't be how it is. This can't be how it ends. But it is, and it's just really sad. Like, really sad, and it's heartbreaking. And with Nikolai as well, like, Nikolai is great, and I love him, and I don't know if he genuinely felt what he felt for Alina was love, whether it was like the beginnings of attraction, I don't know. But I think they would have been great together. So this is different. The first time around, I didn't ship Alina with anybody because I didn't like her enough to ship her with anybody. But this time around, I ship her with everybody, like all of them, like Mal, Nikolai, the Darkling. Like, if Alina had gone full dark, like, her and the Darkling would have been perfect. It would have been amazing and so good, but also really bad because everybody would be dead. And Nikolai, like, I think she would have been great. Like, Nikolai would have been, like, because she would, obviously, if she'd married him, she would be queen, she would still have her powers. Because, like, if she'd married Nikolai, maybe things would have been different. Like, she might not have gone to find the Firebird and wouldn't have realised that Mal was the final amplifier. And she would have had her Grisha powers and she would have ruled beside Nikolai. And I think it would have been great because he would have been like whereas the Darkling would have, like, just made her, like, it would have been horrible. They would have been power hungry. Well, power hungry. Because once you get a feel for it, like, you kind of want more of it. And it's that you just need that little voice to say, well, maybe, you know, you could just not. And I think Nikolai would have been, mind you, I don't know. Because is there anything he wouldn't have done for Ravka? Because he really loves his country and his people. And is there anything he wouldn't have done? So maybe it wouldn't have been a great match. Maybe he wouldn't have been able to stop her, like, before it was too late. Who knows? But I think they would have been good together. But I don't know if Nikolai ever actually genuinely felt anything other than, like, maybe like he just fancied her. Like, it started off as like a platonic thing, like, you know, be my queen, whatever, this will be good for the country and for the Grisha in the country. But then, like, obviously as they got to know each other, maybe it genuinely did start to turn into, like, proper attraction. But nothing that he wouldn't get over. But, like, what happened to him was horrible and heartbreaking, and obviously seeing the difference in him at the end, that he's still trying to be the same that he was before, putting on all the masks and pretending to be what the people need him to be, but it must be so much harder for him, like, having been through that, and having, because it's still, the darkness is still there in me, like, you can still, like, bits of it are still in there. And I'm really looking forward to King of Scars, because obviously we're going to see more of Nikolai and more of what this power is, what this darkness is going to be. And I'm kind of like, it's horrible that Nikolai has this in him, but I'm also genuinely, like, a little bit happy because it's a little bit of the Darkling that he's taken with him. And while it's horrible, and obviously it's horrible for Nikolai, like, it's gonna be horrible for him, I'm sort of happy a bit that the little bit of it is gone, because when Alina loses her powers and then she even loses that little bit of the Darkling's power that she took with her, like, it was just like, well, there's really nothing of him left. He's gone. There's nothing left of him. But there is a little bit of it in Nikolai, and it's horrible, and that makes me, I mean, I'm a horrible, horrible person, but I don't know, like, this just scene, it was just perfect for me. It was exactly, this series is exactly what I needed, and while it still has its flaws, and I'm still not sure, like, the first time around, I remember being super hung up on, like, what Grisha actually were, because they call it a sign, it's not magic, because magic is making something out of nothing, and it's like the heart of the world or whatever, but, like, Grisha can't make things from nothing. They use what's around them, like, but they call it a science, like a small science, but I don't know, like, I just got hung up on the fact that a science is something that anybody can learn, but if you don't have it in you to do it, then you can't do it. So it's not completely a science. It's got to be some... Well, I guess it's sort of like bending then, isn't it? Like, some people can bend, some people just don't have it in them. It must be like a genetic thing. Like rolling your tongue, I think that's a genetic thing. And, you know, things that you can't learn, but like some people can do and some people just can't do it because they just don't have it in them. Like, it must be just like that, like being able to bend your thumb or whatever, you know, when people can like pull their thumb all the way down, it's probably something like that. Or like, is wiggling your ears genetic? Like, I don't know if that's something, like, thing is you can't learn, but you just can do without being taught how to do it, because it's just something your body can do. So maybe it's something like that. And if it is, then that's fine. I don't care about it. Honestly, this time around it didn't matter to me at all. And also the world, like the first time around I was like, the world could do with being a little bit more fleshed out. But whether it's because I've read the Six of Crows duology now, and that the world feels whole to me, it feels good. Like yeah, because I've read the Six of Crows duology now, like rereading it, like whether it's because I've already read it and then read the Six of Crows duology, that like the world feels whole to me, it feels better to me. I don't know, like just all around this reread, this series, it's just so good. Like, it's really good. But I didn't feel that way about it the first time round, so I'm not going to expect like first time readers to necessarily agree with me if their first time reading experience was similar to mine. If it was, I definitely highly suggest a reread, because it just, like, this is the great thing about rereading books. Sometimes they end up worse, but sometimes a reread is what they need to make them better, and I don't think that's a bad thing, because I like rereading books, so it's nice to reread it again and fall even more in love with it than I did the first time round. It was just perfect, and I'm so glad I reread it. Like, had King of Scars not been coming out, mind you, because they've got the Netflix series, that's a thing, that's definitely a thing that I'm really excited about, but at the same time, like, I'm super, super scared for. Because the thing is, you've got to try and separate them. Like, the TV series is not the books. It's not the books. But at the same time, there's obviously that constant comparison going through your head, like, well, that didn't happen, this is that. So it's got to be good to stand on its own, and I'm so terrified that it's going to be horrible. I'm so scared for it, but super, super excited for it at the same time. Like, I didn't even think it would be a thing that we would even get. Like, I don't wish for adaptations, like TV adaptations or film adaptations, because I'm scared of what they'll do to it. But now that it's actually a thing that's happening, I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to seeing it, and I'm looking forward to King of Scars. It's so close, and it's Nikolai, and I'm so excited, and this series is just so good. Like, I think it's definitely now on my list of favourites of all time because of this reread, and I'm just genuinely excited for everything in the Grishaverse. Everything. I love it so much, and I can't wait to reread Six of Crows. That's coming next. I mean, that's going to break my heart as well, but like, I'm excited to reread it because I love them all. They're all my children, and I will die for any of them. I will die for any of them. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So that is it. That is it for this spoilery chat thing. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below any of your thoughts on the Shadow and Bone trilogy, even if you disagree with my opinions on the Darkling. Like, I totally understand. But yeah, any and all thoughts in the comments below, and I will hopefully see you in another video. Bye!